private rear bunkhouse with 4 beds and some good outside storage. Living room super slide, 7-foot ceiling, North Country 30 BHS bunkhouse. Coming to us here at Heartland RV Brokers of Coldwater, Michigan. I had the opportunity to meet the previous owner of this camper and get some history of it, which is always enlightening since there's no Carfax for camping. I do CSI for camping, Camp Scene Investigator. Wow! That's like a theme song. I'll work on that in my own time. But I like it when I can pass along some additional history to folks like yourselves. As far as we know, to the best of our knowledge, there have been 2 previous owners. Owner number 1 did allow a leak to form in the front of the RV. However, when owner number 2 purchased it, it had been fixed at a dealership, and I will go through that with you. The RV in its current state has a couple skin-deep blemishes, but that's the thing, guys. That's all the more this one has. This is, function over fashion kind of camping right here. It has a 7-foot tall ceiling, which is very nice for a taller person like me. Not to mention, it just makes the whole RV look and feel bigger. Bigger bunks, bigger storage, bigger headroom in the shower. Thank you, camping, lords above, so to speak. Tons of drawer space in this kitchen as well. We'll get a better look at that kitchen coming from the other direction. Now, don't have a heart attack. You're like, oh my gosh, something's wrong. There's a panel on the floor. No, that is where the water heater is located. You can see it there. The RV's just winterized currently. That's the access point to it. Now, remember that super 7-foot tall ceiling gives us storage below and above the refrigerator. We actually carried this brand for a time, roughly back dating to 2010, 2011-ish. Heartland RV had quite a few of these, both the North Countries and the Trail Runners on hand. So I know my way around this thing. I remember them very well. Massive chunk of storage there in the corner. So if you're not familiar with this brand, basically its origin is Heartland, who is the parent company here. They kind of got their start making big fifth wheels. Well, when you do that, you have extra materials left over. So they would use those materials and then add a few things as needed here and there to make themselves basically an inexpensive entry-level offering. And that's what this was right here. Never flashy, never fancy, but effective. It gets the job done, Now, when we look up this shower, you notice there is no skylight, but remember this being a 7-foot tall ceiling, you will not have headroom issues in here. Sliding privacy door for the rear bunkhouse is another thing I think people are going to love. Not to mention the fact that we have 4 individual bunks here. So it is a true private bunkhouse. Now, a lot of times, like this was made right before the big camp kitchen boom in the RV industry, which happened around the 2011 to 12 sort of model year exchange. So this has that 4th individual bunk. Instead of losing the bottom bunk to get a camp kitchen, you also are gaining outside storage below both lower bunks as a result. Sweeping forward here, you see they put some good sized windows in this thing as well. We do have central air, we do have central heat, tiny little TV over there, but this was also made before we felt the need to have these like giant mega flat screen TVs in place. The folks used this for a couple trips out to Yellowstone and whatnot, and they just decided it was time to update and upgrade, and they've since replaced their RV and said, well, we don't need 2 of them, and they asked us to find a home for this one for them here at Heartland RV. Now, just because this is here in consignment doesn't mean we can't do trades and financing and hitching. We can still do all of that for you. Original mattress has been replaced by a 60 by 80 big old thick memory foam queen plus a foam topper on top of that. And the taller ceiling allows for some bigger overhead cabinets. Now, I mentioned that the RV's got a couple surface deep glitches. Actually, it occurs to me I've just skimmed over one and missed it here. But like, if you look down here, it looks like maybe a dog got that bottom left cabinet door. But, it's just a visual blemish. There's no real function problems there. The RV I told you had experienced a leak from the original owner, and you can see the signature of that here. However, everything is dry, everything is solid, and it was repaired prior to owner number 2's purchase. And I guess when I say repaired, what I mean is they prevented the leak and replaced materials as required, but there are still a couple little visual residuals left over. So if you're okay with just a couple little blemishes, man, there's a lot of camper here waiting for you. The tires look pretty good. Some of the decals are definitely sun-kissed. I think we'll say that. When you see the RV, like this front decal is mostly gone. Most of the brown you see there is just where the adhesive used to be. So I think what I would do in a camper like this, I get a good old power washer, and I just finish the job. I just blow them off. And what's funny is when you take an RV like this and you blow the remainder of the decals off and you just leave it nice and clean looking, just plain old stark white, it always has a kind of cool look to it. I've seen that done a few times. Or gives you an opportunity to, I don't know, dress it up with a little bit of your own graphics. Looks like previous owner swapped out manual tongue jack for a power, and you can see somebody applied a slide awning over there, which is kind of nice. Now, you saw in the bedroom, this front corner had been historically water affected, not leaking currently, but you want to know more about that naturally. I know I would. So, in a way, it's beneficial that this doesn't look the best right now because it gives us a look under the skin. So this had been water affected. It has obviously been replaced with fresh sheets of, OSB, which is what it would have had down in the first place. This brand never used plywood on their flooring. The previous owner, from running their hitching in and out of here, caught it, snagged it, dug it up a couple times, and that's why she looks a little flaky. But everything is solid, everything is okay. It's perfectly campable. Like I said, as long as you're okay with just a couple surface blemishes, she's gonna treat you just fine. And again, under both the rear bunks, you're gonna have a nice chunk of outside storage. And the ice cream man is pulling in across the street. There's not exactly a whole lot around us here. What is the ice cream man doing here? Sorry, I didn't see something shiny. I heard something shiny. And frankly, if I had a couple bucks in my pocket, I'd probably go get a, bomb pop or something right now. Anyway, fully walkable roof. You've got a 3/8 OSB decking up there, and 5/8 OSB floor decking. So, like I said, you can walk all over these. Outside utility shower in the back wall here is a very, very handy thing, especially when you got a couple kiddos running around. And with this being a private bunkhouse, odds are you've got a couple kiddos running around. Again, just a quick look in here. This would have had an optional spare tire brand new, and it looks like that option was exercised. It doesn't look like it was ever used, and you can see how that's stored back here on the campsite rear outside storage compartment, which is actually larger than the one on the opposite side, because the two bunks over here on this side of the RV are what I call big kid bunks. They're about 50% wider. The two bunks on the opposite side, the driver's side of the RV, are just normal single individual bunks. I do want to mention a quick note, that is a manual awning. Power awnings have become absolutely the norm in the industry, but at the time this was built, that had not happened yet. And I don't want someone to buy this under different assumptions. Even if you had made the assumption, I still think it's our job to try to do our best to proactively notify you of any of those things. So, give us a call. I think this would make a great option for either a first-timer who just wants to try camping and then swap something out because the price is going to be right on her, or, pardon me, if you're just trying to get out of a no-slide bunkhouse, get into a slide-out bunkhouse, or out of a pop-up or something like that. Either way, give us a call here at Haylett RV Brokers of Coldwater, Michigan, and take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylett camping, everyone.